make it interesting, huh?
All right, we live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah. Y'all actually won an award, the Boss Mag 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Y'all won for that media outlet thing.
Man, I don't even know.
Like y'all won. He didn't even know he won.
What'd you say? Who was it?
You won the Boss Magazine 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Congratulations.
That's legendary. You lit.
It was good, Josh. Your boy Dash Resource, aka Peanut. I'm here with my man Stack and Smith, and a legendary. There's not been a more legendary guest than this man. I know I said every episode, but I really mean it this time. Okay?
Right.
We got my man Tony Ruby Sr. Man, thank you for coming out, man.
Man, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
He got the shirt on already. Okay, the first guest to show up with the shirt. Okay, legendary, man.
It's probably because I have too many more T-shirts.
Man, how you doing, man?
I'm wonderful, man. How you about to say?
T-Rube, come in the camera, bro.
Yeah, you
scoot up a little bit.
There you
okay.
go.
There you go. Now
Man,
we lit.
so here at T-Shirt Kings, aka the Legendary People Podcast, we all like to do we got to do your interview all the way right. So we got to start with the origin. So like, where'd you grow up at?
Well, true story. I can't make this stuff up. I grew up in Springfield. Well, I was born in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 1970 in Springfield, and I was born into the Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't know when I was born, I was put up for adoption for my first 18 months.
Wow.
So my first 18 months of life, I was living as my name was Steve Stevenson. So 18 months later, my mom was come back, and she had told the story that she had an abortion, or not abortion, a miscarriage.
Mm.
So my mom came back and saw me 18 months later for some circumstances of welfare back in the day. So as my big brothers and sisters found out that they had a little brother, I came back to the Ruby family.
Man, that's
Bro,
crazy.
that-
man.
That's amazing.
That is
No, it's a
amazing.
true story. I can't make it up.
So like, what was that like coming back into the home with the
Well,
new brothers and sisters essentially?
Well, see, it really wasn't. You can't tell because I was a young baby. So when I come back, I think I'm 2 years old. Me and my sister Tina, because of the family that they took me from. My mother would allow me to still go over there on weekends. Okay. So every weekend, I wouldn't go by myself no more. I would go with my sister. Mm-hmm. So we would go over there. We would go to church, have a good time. But at this time, I'm just a baby. I'm 2 years old. Mm-hmm. So I think by the time I was 26, 27 months, my mom came to Dayton. We lived at Western Manor.
Western Manor.
So once we moved to Western Manor, I lost connection to that family.
Wow.
So we stayed here in Dayton throughout the neighborhoods. That's probably why people know me. I think I lived in every neighborhood there was. And not by purpose, but we just didn't have much. So we went from Evergreen to Greenbrier to, every street in the neighborhood, Lexington, Euclid. Me and my mom, Grand, twice. So, she was a mother with 5 kids, man. So my father at that time, he left her. My mother was from Glasgow, Scotland. So we don't have no relatives here.
Wow.
So she made it happen with no relatives.
God, man. So,
Yeah.
that's some cold, man. So, so school had to be in and out of different schools.
Oh, no question. I'm still hooked up with so many people in the city because I went to every school. Sometimes I will be there for the first semester, and then I would be at Van Cleve for the next semester. Then we would move from that neighborhood. We go to Westwood. Now I go to Rolfe. Then we would stay at Rolfe for 7th, 8th, a little bit of 7th, and I'd go back to Grand. Now I'm at E.J. Brown. So yeah, it was tough, man. But knowing then, we didn't know it was tough. Looking back at it, you would say it's tough, but reality, me and my sister Tina, we didn't know it was rough, man. It was just life. It was just, no complaints. It wasn't, looking back. I'm glad my children didn't have to go through that, but I can't say that was bad.
But like we talk about on camera, like we talk about the sacrifice of all the stuff like you put in, like. Our children are the spoils of that because they don't have to go through that.
Right.
Like you'll speak a little bit to like the sacrifice portions of it, because like that is a lot to go through and to not even like acknowledge like the trauma and moving around so much, having to dipping out of different people and meet different people every single time, which kind of benefits you because you can go in any room and
know somebody.
know somebody.
Well, when we grow up, I think when you're a kid, we just don't realize how happy you really is, you know what I mean? Because we didn't have much, man. I love cereal and water, you know what I mean? So just in my mindset, just the way I was treated, my brothers were 16 years older than me.
Right.
So you got to remember, I got a brother that's 16. That's really like my dad.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So in my mind, all I would say is that if I was to do it different, that's the reason why my kids the way they are today. That's all I would say. If I was to do it different, I would make it better for them. That was it. Not saying nothing really wrong.
Right.
I'm just saying if I had the opportunity, I would do it a little different.
Okay.
And that's why I raise the kids the way I raise them. Not blaming my mother or my father, none of them. I just, in my mind, I said if I had a chance to do it different, I would.
Right.
And that's why I raised them the way I raised them.
Cool.
T-Rule, big bro. So you coming up and you going to different schools. You basically establishing your network while doing this, even though we ain't realizing it, that's what's going on. When did you start to feel yourself coming to your manhood where you started shaping into being the leader of whatever it is that you was going to do? About when you think you kind of got it?
Well, true story. I tell people I can't make it up. At 8 years old, I pumped gas at 76 gas station on the bridge in Riverview.
Oh, man.
Every day I would go to that gas station and I would pump gas every day.
Yeah.
So my mother didn't have much, and back then it was 35 cents for Doritos, 35 cents for a Snicker, and 35 cents for a Chili Willy, which is $1.05. So all I needed was $1.05, and I'm cool. You know what I mean? So every day I will get down there and I will pump gas, literally for quarters, dimes, nickels, and everything else. So I would take the load off my mother's shoulder.
Wow.
At that age. But by the time I'm 9, I got my first worker because now I sell the pump for $1. So now, little young man, everybody want to do what I'm doing. So I would sell the pump for $1 while I sit there and roll. So everybody knew who I was, so I'm already rolling. He give me my $1 for the pump 3. You know what I mean? You give me the $1 for pump 2, and I work pump 1. So I had been doing this for years.
Wow.
So while everybody else was throwing the ball, football on the street and playing track or whatever, I walked my little butt from 1026 Shakespeare, 1045, and I walked right down to the Bridge Street every day. So the whole neighborhood knew me. Everybody knew me already. That's little Tony right there, from the grown-ups to the little guys, because that's what I was doing. So if you want to ask that question, my network and being a leader kind of started there because the kids kind of looked up to me because that's what I stood for, going to pump that gas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So now you getting a taste of how to run a business, man. I mean, at 8 years old, whether we pumping gas or you doing that, you are doing a service in order to get money, right?
Yes.
All right. So now you coming out of 8, you get to your 9. Now take all of that experience that you did doing that, and then let's talk more. Let's get to your middle school years.
Yeah.
I want to know about 13, 14, when you getting out of middle school into high school. What you doing?
13. I say at 13 we moved over, and we moved a 3658 Carwin. So this is the Carwin. This is in the 80s now. This is the area where crack cocaine is just getting ready to hit.
Yeah.
Now I'm 13, 14 years old. A guy named Tommy.
This by Otterbein?
This is Otterbein and Carwin.
Otterbein.
So 13, we move over to the hood. All of us was hood back then. But an older man named Tommy had bought me a lawnmower. So he bought me a lawnmower back then, probably $100 and something. So he bought me this lawnmower for me to cut grass because I was already cutting his grass and stuff. So he bought me this lawnmower to cut grass. So as I bought this lawnmower, I didn't understand he was coming back telling me to give him money. So I didn't really know how this worked.
Right.
Because I was getting frustrated because I would do the grass and he kept saying I owed him money. What my little young mind don't understand that he bought the lawnmower. I was literally paying him back.
Right.
But I didn't get that. I was like, man, he tripping, man. Every dime I get, I got to give it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got mad. Like, man, I ain't cutting grass no more. You can have that lawnmower. You know what I mean? It was a Murray's lawnmower. You know what I mean? But I didn't know because he was pressuring me to pay him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was just like, man, I got the lawnmower. I'm telling my mom and them like, man, I'm cool, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to because every time I get the money, I got to hand it to him.
Right.
So that's 14, 15 years old. Now you got to remember, we on our way to Patterson. Now at this time, now it's 50. I'm 15. Mm-hmm. Now everybody, you got to remember, I'm from the streets of Carwin and Audubon. So at this time, we had guys in the front yard selling weed or whatever they had to do, right? But I'm passing them, man. I promise, man. I know everybody in the neighborhood, but I'm not even tuned about the drugs in the streets. Now, my oldest brothers and them, they already in it.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
But I'm so happy being a 15-year-old. I know the whole neighborhood. I'm cutting hair. I used to cut the guys' hair. A couple of the guys y'all know now, I was a barber. I would literally bring them in my basement and let them buy popcorn. I would cut their hair. You know, I would charge them $1 to watch my movies in my basement, and I would just I would cut their hair. That's a true story.
I
can't make it up.
believe.
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And some of the guys won, they cutting hair now, but I would bring them into my basement, cut their little hair, and charge them $1 to watch a movie, man. We had fun, man. But that was my life at 15.
Wow.
Literally having a ball. But as 15 gets there, the guys in my middle, you know, you see them selling the drugs or whatever. So as my 9th grade year, Patterson, now I'm going to Patterson. Now my sister tells me to go get some money one day from a drug dealer that I know is a drug dealer.
Okay.
So I'm 16 now.
Right.
All right? So I'm like, Tina, I don't feel like going. That's my sister name. I'm like, Tina, I ain't going. She's like, Tony, just go. I'm like, man, I don't feel like going. She said, go get my $25. Like, man. So my mama said, boy, go get that $25. All right. So I get up. I go over on Stanford. I knock on the door. And as I'm knocking on the door, it's a lady sitting here named Barbara. She's standing right here with me. I'm standing right here with him. And he's taking all day to come to the door. So he say, Tony, once he finally opened the door, the lady said, I want a 25-cent piece. He look at me. He say, Tony, do you know her? I'm like, yeah. He said, Tony, do you know? Because now you got to remember, I'm the kid of the neighborhood. He said, have you ever saw her, Tony? I'm like, yeah, man, I seen her, man. So he like, man, have you ever saw her? I really never saw her, man, but I lied like a mug. I'm like, yeah, I saw her, man. Just give my sister's money.
Right.
He said, open your hand, Tony. I opened my hand. He put a crack in my hand, and she put $25 in my hand, just like that. Just like that. Man, give me my sister's money. The lady go out the door. He sit there. He said, man, you sure you know her? I said, yeah, man, give me the money, man. He said, you sure you know her? I said, yeah, man, give me my sister's money, man. He said, he go out the front of Stanford. He walks out to go exchange the money. Back then, that's what they did. He go exchange the money. I'm sitting there like, man, give me. So he come back out the house. He said, did you sure you know her? And I look to my left. She's coming down the street yelling, I want my money. I want my money back. So Tracy takes off going this way. I'm sitting there stunned. She I want my money. And then as close as she got to me, she tried to jump on me. She said, task force. I shake her up off me, man, and I run straight home without passing go. I'm talking about, went straight in the house, and I kicked in the door like, Mama, y'all made me get in trouble. By the time I kicked in my door, the task force was behind me.
Get that.
Bro, what?
That's the truth. Look, by the time, and
That's
I never sold drugs. I never did anything. Right? That's all I did. That's all I did. But I lied. That's all I did. But when they came in my house, they put the guns on everybody. They took me down to juvenile. Now I just had a ball at Patterson. You remember we had a casual where we had dressed like everybody the whole week. I don't miss days. I love going to school. You know what I mean, that's where my friends was at, right? But now I'm in juvenile. Ain't did nothing. Like sitting in juvenile was we going down. The lady she I'm sorry. I wish I had taken you. I'm like, well, why take me? Like I ain't gonna be able to go to school. So anyway, so the next day I got to go to juvenile. Now they give me this apple butter bread. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was banging. You know what I'm saying? So juvenile, for real. I'm telling you, when I get down, I've never been in trouble, but I'm sitting down in juvenile. I'm sitting there like, man, like they kept me down there for 2 days. I'm like, man. So when they finally came and got me, I really wasn't ready to go. I was just kicking it, right?
Yeah.
So when I come back home, my mom and them tell me what happened. I said, I just was in the way. You know what I mean? So they put me on unsupervised probation. It was really nothing.
Right.
So I go back to school. The security guard, when I went to school, this is a true story. She came straight to me, hurt my feelings like yesterday. She said, why are you in school? It's the first of the month. Shouldn't you be out selling drugs? I ain't told nobody that I was a drug dealer. I ain't told nobody. And I really wasn't a drug dealer.
Right.
Trust me. I really wasn't.
Right.
But the security guard knew that I went to juvenile because that's what they do.
Right.
So from that point on, when I come home, I asked my mother, I said, Mom, so I said, Mom, I need $35. She said, what's wrong, Tony? I said, I just need $35. They got these new ponies downtown at LB Shoe Outlet. They got ponies, and they had these numbers you stick on them. So you buy the ponies, but they was only $35. So I asked my mother, I said, hey, Mom, can I get $35? She said, I ain't got $35. I'm like, man, $35? Mom, that's all they cost. You know, I had holes in my shoes, man. I used to borrow Stephon Cottrell, bless his heart, he passed away. But I used to go over there and borrow his shoes, you know what I mean, like to wear to school. And they stopped giving them to me.
Right.
You get what I mean? It's like, I ain't got no more for you. I'm seeing 30 pair of shoes each time. I ain't got no more. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Him and James Moore, I would wear their shoes. But at a certain point in time, they stopped giving them to me.
Right.
So I asked my mother, man, 16 years old, I said, can I get $35? She said, I ain't have it. Well, my mom used to drink VSOP Remy. They used to cost $35. You get what I'm saying? So as I asked her for that, I watched her buy a $35 bottle. Right there.
Yeah.
So my big brother come in right then, you know, that was my idol. He come in, he like, what's up? He said, did you take out the trash? I really didn't take out the trash, but I opened the back door, unlocked it, went out the front, took the trash out, came back in. Like, hey, bro, I took that trash out. You know what I mean? Because I knew he was going to check, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
So I knew he was going to check, so I took that trash out. And so he was my big brother. He always asked me, could I ride with him? He's like, hey, man, you want to ride with me? I said, of course. Man, that was my role, you know what I mean? So I jump in the car. We go down there on Windsor Avenue. The apartment's closed now, but we was on Windsor. We go into my other brother's house, Jeff. He like, what's up, Tone? I said, nothing. They say, sit down, you know, just little square TVs on the floor models. You remember them?
Yeah.
With the cable that just flip like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I sat down, and they go in the back room. So when they go in the back room, and I watched them come back out with a $100 bill. Flat $100 bill. So my brother leave out the front door. He comes back with some aluminum foil, gray aluminum foil in his hand, and they go back into the room. They come back out. I don't know why they were standing outside the door past the hundreds, but they did it again. He went outside the house, came back with some more aluminum foil in his hand. You understand? I sat on the couch, just chilling. You get what I mean? So about a couple hours later, he like, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. So we jump in his car, we riding back to drop me off. I say, hey, bro, Leonard, can I get that $35? He yelling at me, I ain't got no $35. I'm sitting there like, man, I just watched you blow $200, man. You know what I mean? But I don't say nothing, man. But I'm mad, really, you know, hurt being a young man.
Right.
Like, dang, my mama bought a Remy, didn't worry about me these shoes. Ain't bought me no shoes all year. You get what I'm saying? Because I was getting them from James and Stephon. So then my brother gonna blow $200. He ain't gonna give me $35. So that day on, from that day on, when I came from Patterson the next day, I dropped my book bag on the couch, and I went over to the hood, and I knocked on the door, and I said, I'm ready to become a drug dealer. That's how I started.
Damn.
That's deep.
That's how I started. Never got in the drug game thinking I was going to be a millionaire and all that. That ain't how I started. My jumped off that porch because I couldn't get that $35. And everybody in my neighborhood was already getting it. They had the Dunks, they had the Jordans, they had it going on.
Yeah.
I tried my hardest.
All you wanted was some ponies.
Some ponies.
Right.
$35 LB
35.
shoe out. That's it. But after that, man, I jumped on a roller coaster ride that took me for a long ride. But I do know how I got on that roller coaster. I didn't get on that roller coaster because my mama didn't have. I got on that roller coaster because I wanted some $35 gym shoes and didn't know that that game would take you the way it took me. But I am not blaming my mama or my lifestyle. That wasn't the problem.
Right.
I just wanted them $35 shoes, and I knew how to get it because I seen everybody else in the neighborhood doing it.
Man.
That's it.
Man,
So all right. So once you get on this track, you know, you do got people who they do just the least amount possible. So when I was just maybe like 9th grade, 8th grade, I had heard of you, bro. I had heard of you for being a baller.
Yes.
Real talk.
Yeah.
And so you went from, you know, going to start that day to actually having a name.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was a big dog. So I don't want to say how did you do that, but kind of like how did you do it? Like
It really wasn't. It just. I couldn't take no glory for anything that happened. It's just when I jumped in it, I jumped in it. It wasn't. It was just like when I was a kid. It's nothing I did special. It's nothing that I did that no other drug dealer could not do. It's just when I did it, I did it. You know what I mean? Once I did it, I hid from my mom and my brothers and them. They really didn't know I did it. I did that for about a year because I just was in the basement. And back then, you don't see nobody. You just knock on the door and you slide it through the hole.
Right.
So after I'm doing that for a year, I got money now.
Right.
So now I got enough money. Now everybody in the streets know I got money because I run Otterbein. You know what I mean? Because now you got to remember, it comes back to me knowing everybody in Otterbein before I was even hustling.
Right.
So now that they already know from the kids, the mothers of the kids, now everybody like, I know Tony. So they kind of trusted a drug dealer. I don't know how that happens, but that's just how it happened.
Well, and since you was being incognito with it, you didn't want your family to know what you was doing, your bigger brothers. So was you just not splurging and just saving your money?
No, I didn't really. I'm going to tell you, I never bought anything. I bought my first Chevy. That's when me and my brother got into it because he didn't want me to be in that game.
Right. Yeah.
But I went on Dixie one time, bought me my first 1977 Chevy. I only paid $600 for it, you know what I mean? But I brought that mug back to the driveway. And when I brought it in this driveway, you know what I mean? But I'm already out there now. So when he see me with that car, he kind of tussled me a little bit, like you a drug dealer. But it was too late now.
4-door Caprice.
Yeah, Caprice, 4-door Caprice, baby.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Box Chevy,
you know what I mean? So my mother wasn't in agreement. It wasn't like she was in agreement, but I was already out there. Now it's just like from, you know, the guys that was out there with me, it was already too late.
Right.
It wasn't no stopping. Now it's like you in it now. Like,
So I think that you know, like from hearing your story of moving around so much, it kind of benefited you when it came to networking because you already had to come in here and then, you know, like you in and out with it anyway. So like you didn't even build those you know, like those strong attachments to people really more than what you needed to survive in it.
right.
So are you saying like that's really where
That's
you
it.
thrived at?
That's it. I can only go to Dayton View with the later Keith Watson and all them ran to Dayton View. I already knew these guys. You get what I mean? We already had relationships. So when you go to Dink McCluskey, everywhere I went, I had relationships. Like, this is before the drugs. So when everybody's jumping off the porch and I got what they want, why not mess with Ruby?
Right.
So I didn't have a problem messing with drug guys. You get what I'm saying? Because they already knew me or they knew of me. I know little Tony, man. You know what I mean? So that probably was the benefit to make me go faster than anybody else because we was out there little. You know what I mean? 15, 16 years old. So everybody else 20, 23.
Right.
So we babies, you know what I mean? But we got money as babies too. And my little late pumpkin, you know what I mean? He was a baby. You know what I mean? So we was really kids doing grown up stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And not knowing it. Just dumb at the time, just not knowing it.
So you know what?
Well, all right. So, of course, you're gonna transition to. I mean, right now we know you on a completely different level, a completely different person as we all mature into. But for people that's selling dope, one thing that we talked about earlier was prison and death. So, prison. Share.
Wait,
Well,
wait,
yeah, go ahead.
wait.
Oh, well, my bad.
I got a question before that. Cause I watched your podcast with like the former a judge.
He's still a judge.
He's still a judge. But like you spoke about being already a changed person before you got sentenced. So what was the part that got you to like before you like got sentenced? Like what got you into the faith and kind of helping you on the process of changing?
Well, I tell you, my story is a little different because we talks about the whole world talks about rats and all that kind of stuff. I had a different story. My story is a little different. It's not like I'm an anti-rat or I'm this dude that's just so hard. Man, that's a lie. What happened is, man, I didn't have no children. When I was a thug, I didn't have no children. You know what I mean? When we shooting and doing all that wild lifestyle, I had no children. So if you killed me, man. That was it, man. There was no responsibility. So when I was coming in my better days, you get what I mean? It was just me. I go hard, I go wild, but I had nothing, man. Like nobody to be cared for but me. So Mark Norvell, Ebony Fisher, these guys had children before me. So I used to watch these guys take care of these children, man. It used to flip me out, man. You get what I'm saying? I'm talking about we would be, especially Mark, we would be in Atlanta. His son have a sneeze, he fly back home. I'm like, man, who does that? You know what I mean? But he was in Punkin, we would go shopping, and I would watch him just buy thousands of dollars worth of clothes for his children.
Yeah.
Now I don't have none now, but I'm impressed with these dudes.
Right,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, wow.
But I'm sitting there like, man, I can't wait to do that. You feel me?
Oh,
no, that's just my heart. In my heart, I ain't tell him, but I'm just looking at Punkin, and I'm like, man, listen, man. If I have a son, I want to be like you and Mark, man, because y'all are the dads of the dads. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I was before.
Wow.
So in 1993 and 92, my ex-wife was pregnant. So I'm about to have my son.
Very first one.
My first one.
There we go.
But at the same time, I lose my brother to an overdose. 1992. So I'm about to have my first one, and then my brother died off of overdose, off of crack cocaine overdose, because he swallowed it, and he was fighting with the police, but it was still crack cocaine. They called it an overdose. So as my brother passed, here I'm this big drug dealer, right? It's the most hypocritical feeling you ever want to have in your life.
Wow.
Everybody looking up to me as a leader, but I just lost my big role model to the things that's making me successful.
Man.
Well, to me, I don't know about everybody else, but to me, I started to think, man, I don't want this life, man.
Right.
Like, for real, everybody else wants the life. I don't want this life. But I can't share it with everybody because at that time, I'm probably $300,000 in the hole. So all I'm asking God is, man, listen, man, just let me pay my debt, man, and I'm going to have this baby. I'm done, man. I want out this, man. But I don't want to owe nobody. But I got all these cars, houses, and everything, but I ain't got no cash, bro. You know what I mean? I look the part, but I'm broke, man. You get what I'm saying? For real. I look good, but I was broke.
Right.
So I'm going to have my first son, and all I want to do is be for him. That's it. That's it. All I want to do is be there for him. So I sold everything I had, man. I sold all my stuff. I began to sell my cars, but to sell my houses. I sold everything in that time span. And a couple months later, man, I had more money than I ever had in my life.
Right.
It's the sacrifice, man.
So when I had a lake house at that time. I went to my lake house. I asked a couple of my guys what they think about me changing. Nobody said anything. Nobody gave me no sound advice like, man, you need to, you know what I mean? I just had my son, man. I mean, he was a beautiful boy, man. You get what I mean? I'm excited, but I'm kind of scared too because I still live his life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, man, I don't want him to be like I had to, man. I just want to be with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Apostle McGuire, me and him had a conversation. One conversation led to me changing my life in 30 seconds. Lost $500,000 getting out the streets.
Jesus Christ.
But it was called freedom. It was called freedom.
Freedom.
Right.
I seen that little Tony. I seen freedom. It didn't make no difference. No money in the world mattered to me seeing that little boy. So everybody in this town thought I was crazy because I could walk away at the top. But I wasn't walking away from those drugs, man. I was walking away for that little boy.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how the story started. So, a couple years, you get, saved and found out about the Holy Ghost, learned the Bible, got me a job at the city of Dayton, did all kind of things. Later in that life, about 96, 97, 98, I had a few conversations that I probably shouldn't have had because I learned about this Christendom, which you got to know it. Coming from the streets where I come from, I'm coming from people keep it real, you know what I mean? So I'm learning that people don't really keep it real all the way. So that kind of changed my mindset in 99. So as I'm talking to my old previous friends, we do a lot of talking we shouldn't talk about because for 5 years I didn't talk to nobody.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But no transaction, nothing, but I had that conversation. Well, the FBI came to my house, man. They came to my house in 2000, bro.
After you already quit the game cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
What's that feeling like?
Well, at that time, it's like I'm saved, man. I ain't had no dirt on me. So I wasn't scared at all. You know what I mean? I was kind of arrogant if you think about it. But I didn't have no dirt on me. So it's like, what y'all at my house for? One of the terminologies is tell the truth will set you free. I'm already free, man. What you talking about, man? But that was one of the terms they used because they knew I was in church. And then they would use my family, man. Like, you got a beautiful thing, man. We've been following you for 8 years, man. Look, this is nice, man. You got a nice family, man. Don't lose none of this. I'm like, how am I gonna lose it? They said, we want to know what you used to do when you was in the streets. I say, man, what I did, man, it's over, man. They said, nah, don't worry about it. That's how the FBI is. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure it's okay, man, because these guys going down anyway. I said, man, I ain't got nothing to do with them guys, man, at all, man. I ain't got nothing to do with those guys. So as I left that conversation in front of my house with them, I look at the paper, and it was United States of America versus me. And I'm like, what in the world? So I asked everybody, I go ask some crew, like, man, what's going on, man? Everybody knew I was saved. Guess what they tell me? Man, don't worry about it, man. Just pray, man. There ain't nothing, man. Just pray. Like, man, these people coming to my house, man. You know what I'm saying? But, these guys would tell me, man, just pray, man. So I got an attorney. Attorney told me the truth. I can't lie on him. He told me whatever you do, because they indicted me before the grand jury, and he told me the truth, bless his heart. He said, whatever you do not lie to that grand jury. He said, if you feel like you got to lie, you come out to this outside. I'm going to be out here. Just don't answer that question. Plead the fifth. Do not lie. And he told me that's the honest truth. He told me that. So I went in that grand jury, and I lied.
Oh, man.
I lied. I lied so bad they threw me out. One thing about the FBI, they knew everything. Every question they asked me, they already had the answer.
They were softballing the question to themselves.
They already knew. But they just wanted me to lie. So when I lied, they gave me 2 false declarations before the grand jury and conspiracy. It's the way the game go. So that's how I ended up going to prison.
So you have I had a couple relationships with the judge that actually sentenced you, which is Judge Walter Rice. So when you first met him, it was under the, under that of, you done bet it all, lost.
Yep.
He sentenced you to 70 months.
Yep.
How are you feeling when you hear him say that to you?
Oh, man. It wasn't how you feel. I think that was probably the worst feeling you had because they only gave me an hour to plead. So I went to court. Matter of fact, it was about 2 hours. I went to court, and it was 12:30. I had to be back there by 3. And he told me I had to take this plea or I'm going to have to go to trial starting that Monday. It's Friday. Trial start Monday. So if I lose in the trial, that's 10 years to 20. So I take the 70 or you take the 10, the chances on the 10. It's 32 witnesses against me. So that was the worst feeling in the world because I had to walk downtown, not cry in the outside, but my inside I was crying because I was so mad I'm about to plead to something I had nothing to do with. I'm about to plead to some keys that I had not a nickel on. But it's nothing I can do about it because I got 2 hours to make up my mind, and that's what the judge said. So that was the worst feeling in the world. So when I came back, I pled to that 70, and he gave me the 70 months. Well, he didn't give it to me that day. I knew I had him coming.
Right.
But I had to plead to him. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Man, and a lot of times when people are in jail, damn near everybody say like, they say, man, what you in jail for? You say, oh man, it's some bull stuff. I'm in here for some bulls. But that actually sounds like it's true. And I know all the time, man, like, I don't know if we could call it karma or if we could call like, sometimes the Most High gotta wash your slate clean in order for you to really be able to elevate to where you're supposed to go.
Absolutely.
Because you cannot mix good with wicked and get a good result.
I mean,
It will always have some type of tarnish on whatever it is you're trying to do. But for whatever reason, however the Most High want to get you clean, you kind of got to accept it in order for you to actually grow into the man you are today.
and you saying it right, because I before I got incarcerated, okay, when you get on the stage, when we're in the pulpit or whatever, I'm doing a lot of speaking. So one time, I know it was like yesterday, one time on this pulpit, and it was a white congregation, and it was a mix, kind of white and mixed, but it was mixed.
Yeah.
So what happens is, back then everybody said this millionaire, this millionaire, he was a millionaire drug dealer and all that, that's fine. But I looked out at the crowd. When you're in that pulpit, you can see what people look like. When I looked out of that crowd, man, you could see that people was not happy about my testimony, because the testimony could sound like braggadocious.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because I have never been punished for that millions of dollars that they said I had.
Right.
So I seen that look. Everybody else might not seen that. I saw that look.
Right.
I felt that tension from every time I was speaking to certain individuals. So when I come back home, after you take your punishment, just like you said, it's like not washing your slate clean. Now I become relatable, because some of the things I needed punishment for.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And that's how America think.
Right.
We got to be punished, man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt that. So when I came back home, it was almost like, all right, now he can talk. You know what I'm saying? Because he got his little punishment.
Right.
You get what I mean? So, but even when I went to prison, I used to laugh, because when I knew I was going, and then when I got there, everybody in prison got a Quran or a Bible. Man, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's for real. Right. When you went in there, everybody locker either got a Quran on it or a Bible on there, man. Yeah. So I had knew in my mind I was never going to come home or call home talking about Jesus, because I had Jesus before I went into prison.
Right.
So when I go to prison, I don't even tell nobody I'm saved. I know the Bible or nothing. I'm just trying to be cool. You know what I mean? But everybody in there believes in something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So I just always said, I'm never calling home talk about Jesus love you know what I mean? Because I didn't want this jail thing to make I change, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that stuck with me for years. But to your point, I met a psychiatrist. This is where my unforgiveness got better. As I met my psychologist, I had to take psychology, and I met a psychiatrist. And I was mad at the judge. I'm mad at everybody. I'm thinking everybody told on me. I'm just bitter. Man, my first 3 years, it was bitter Tony. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm salty. I'm in here telling me I'm in here for nothing. You know what I mean? I believe it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, psychiatrist sat me down one day. And he said, "How long did you know those guys?" I said, "I met them about '86." He said, "When did they tell on you?" I said, 1999, 2000. He said, "Man, you had roughly 13 years. So your bad decision to make them your friends 13 years, now you mad at them?" Man, when he told me that, when I got back to my bunk, I know how to take responsibility, man.
Yeah.
Never, and all those guys, girl, I don't have a grudge, man. I promise. It is what it is. But he gave me that, man, and it was like my deliverance, man. Like, wow, like, so everything don't start when you see it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you got to look out of the eyes where that foundation come from.
Yeah, man.
And
The chickens come home to roost, man.
Come on, now.
Wow.
Bro, listen, bro. The other day, me and P, and this is a little off track, right? But we're in here trying to set up the audio, okay? And I got the headphones here, right? And I'm talking in the mic. These headphones, for some reason, it's bringing that sound back around.
Delayed.
Bringing back around. So, like what I'm saying right now, right? Wait about a minute and a half, and I can hear it back in my headphones again, as like some kind of echo. And what I took out of that was, like, the things that we say and the things that we do are continuing to play out.
Come on now.
Over and over and over and over to the point where nothing that you do is done. It's just a seed that you planted.
Come on.
It's gonna grow. It's gonna grow. So it's best for us to plant these seeds that we can be proud of later, man. You know what I mean? All of that stuff, like the people who came back and told on you, or whatever might happen with me over things that you do earlier, like all of this stuff. Oh, this is my real point. For you to realize that. That's how you actually become better.
Yes.
My woman got mad at me this weekend, but she wouldn't tell me why. And I said, listen, if you don't tell me why, how can I not do it again? So the thing about it is, like, the psychiatrist, he told you why, in order for you to be able to swerve that for the rest of your life.
That was a key.
Yeah.
But what gave you the presence of mind to, because every time, like, you try to get released, you gotta, like, make a declaration to the judge. And what gave you the presence of mind to keep messaging him and keeping that line of communication open?
I want it out. Listen, bro, it's two type of people in prison: those who want to be there and those who still don't want to be there. You know what I mean? so listen, man. I was writing him because I wanted him to get me out, and his letter was his hands was tied. But he would always write me back. But I wanted him to get me out. So, man, I'm just writing, man. And he write right back. I'm like, man, he like, nothing I can do. Like, man, do something, because in there, all we hear is what the judge can do. But that's because I didn't know. Now I know it's not what the judge can do. But back then, I said, everybody else said it, I'm writing. You know what I mean? But his hands is tied because you belong to the Bureau of Prisons. You don't belong to the judge no more.
Right.
So once I signed that, he sent me away. His hands was off of me. I belong to the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So I'm just keep right there, like he can bring me back and resend to me. He don't have that kind of power.
Right.
But I didn't know that. So I just kept. So he kept writing me. We wrote each other. And he just wanted to shake my hand. So I said I would do that one day. But even when I first come home, I didn't just go right there. Let me go shake his hand. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you're thinking about everything else.
Yeah, it's like, it's a catch up. You know what I mean? And plus, when I came home, I wasn't where I'm at today.
Right.
So I'm saying, even though I went to prison, prison don't change you. I'm trying to tell you, it just sustains you. But when I got back out to the real world, I began to think just like the world think, just in seconds. I'm talking about seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm an educated guy, right? So what? Education don't matter, man, because society, when I got back, I started thinking just like society. I spent $3,500 from Pennsylvania to Dayton. You get what I'm saying? In prison, I was only spending $100 a month. So when I come home, the day I come home, I spent $3,500. That don't make sense.
Right.
2 phone bills, $900 from Sprint. You get what I'm saying? It's just, that's what society do. So the pressures jump on you soon as you come home. So I wasn't ready. I mean, people be acting like you ready. I wasn't today's man in 2008.
Right.
You know what I mean? No. So I had to stumble. I had to fall. You know what I mean? I had to really figure out, man, what do I really want to do?
Yeah, man.
Because I'm chasing, man. I mean, for real, you chasing who you used to be. You chasing depression. I'm chasing everything. You know what I mean? So it took years, and that's why I teach today. I'm teaching guys to come home because I understand. See, that became relevant to me. See, if I didn't go to prison, like you say, I went for no reason. But if I don't go to prison, if I don't go through what I went through, I couldn't teach the guys I'm teaching today. Because I would have no skin in the game. You get what I mean? I know how I feel to wake up at that 4 o'clock count. You get what I mean?
Right.
I know how I feel to eat that food that got maggots in it. You get what I'm saying? Because I worked in food service. You know what I mean? I know how to stand in a line from here to the mall on Thanksgiving, even if it was raining. You get what I'm saying? So if I didn't have that skin in the game, I wouldn't be so much in love with what I do today.
Which is re-entry.
That's what I do.
Man, and to me, that is so legendary because it's so easy for somebody to, each time that you got locked up, it wasn't even I mean, of course you got skin in the game because you did, you know what I'm saying, that, but it will put such a bitter taste in somebody's mouth to where you will abscond and like completely turn my back from it, like, but you face it head on.
Well, when the good Lord saved you, he got, I tell little brother all the time. We have a purpose, and when I say reentry, whatever I do, I want to do be good at it. You know what I mean? I want to be known for it. You get what I mean? So if I jump into reentry, I would be disappointed.
Like reentry for people who may not be.
Reentry. You know, reentry is guys and girls coming from prison, or pre-entry is guys and girls going to prison. So I work with that crowd. Right. The reason why I love working with that crowd because that's my lane. Because us street guys, or whatever you want to call them, drug dealers or thugs or hustlers, we all got that same swag. No matter what you do, we all carry the same swag. But if I ever would do anything great, I want to go back to get those that was just like me. You know what I mean? That's it. It ain't no judging, because in this life, that's all we got, man, is to learn the truth, man. That's it. No judging, man, because guess what, man? If it was for judging or mistakes, I've been gone. You know what I mean? But the good Lord seen it so. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing, because man, some of the testimony, I shouldn't even be here for real. Some of the shootouts, man, I shouldn't even be here for real. You get what I mean? So a lot of people dying for way less than I had. You know what I mean? A lot of people dying or going to prison for way less than I had to. So when I go back into reentry and what we do in this community, we just got to let them know, man, I'm not ashamed of my past. That I ain't trying to glorify it at all. Right. You know what I mean? But if I did not go through that, I wouldn't be here talking today. It's no hard feelings, man. It's just, you know, and you know, you get mad, you know, folks see me, you know, people don't even know me, they think they know of me. You know what I mean? That's why I try to tell people I'm not this anti-snitch, man. That's a lie, man. Let's cut that to the chase. You know what I mean? My situation was different. I don't know what I would do if I'm put in a situation like everybody else. But guess what? Thank God I wasn't.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't judge. I ain't got nothing to judge about. But in my life, that wasn't my lane. You get what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of times people hear my case and they just thinking I'm this, but they don't know my story. You know what I mean? They don't know why I did what I did. You know what I mean? Because some of the guys they wanted me to tell on, you got to remember, how you owe somebody $300,000 and don't have to sweat it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where they do that at?
Yeah.
How you be in New York at 19 years old, man, with $500,000 and I'm here talking to you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them loyalties just don't go nowhere. You know what I mean? Just thank God, man, that I'm here.
Right.
But, you know, when it comes to that stuff, that was my story. You get what I mean? So I didn't do what I did because I'm so great or I'm tough. No, man, that just my circumstances was different.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's how we live, man. We live on them circumstances and we have fun, man. Everything we doing to this day, man, we having a ball, man. It's not it's not hard to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that if I had the antidote to tell a guy not to hustle, I have an island somewhere. Do you hear me? I will buy myself an island. Yeah. I don't know what makes a man or woman do what they do. But if we do get the antidote, we gonna move up out of here and buy us an island. But until then, we're gonna try to help them make better choices and decisions. That's it.
But also, I want to commend you on just like your butterfly effect. Of course, it was like you have people that saw you, glorified you, even when, you know, like you just trying to, you know, like get those shoes. You know what I'm saying? And mentally those shoes are something else now, an island now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To your butterfly effect that you made was powerful because, you know, even you kept writing the judge. He kept telling you, ain't nothing I can do. My hands are tied. And the irony is my hands are tied to now your hands tied with him with that handshake, right?
Yeah.
But the butterfly effect that you left on him, the impression you left on him, he said out his own words. He can't even sentence people the same way because of you.
Right.
What you've done changed the way he is now.
Man.
This man has a skyscraper named after him. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, this person right now is still a judge, and he's saying what you did. In fact, the way he's sentencing people, because he said that he literally went from sentencing people's grandparents to now sentencing their grandchildren.
Yes.
You've changed the way he's done that. And he called his colleagues to play to say also, you know, they need to start getting in the culture of where you're at. You can't be disconnected from it. These are things that you've had him change his perception on.
And
that's legendary.
Well, the thing it is I'm glad he did, but it would be anybody. So you got to remember, we asking judges, prosecutors to understand us. But they ain't never around us. And none of us is never in the room. So all God did was give me the opportunity for me to show him who we really are. That's it. It's not that, we make a bad choice, but nobody picks up heroin to say, I want to kill somebody.
Right.
Nobody picks up fentanyl and say, today, I'm going to kill somebody.
Right.
That's not why they do it. But they do it for other reasons.
Right.
So when you sentence a man, don't sentence a man as a murderer. Because that's what society see. Because you sell fentanyl, they see you as a murderer. No! He didn't wake up this morning saying, I want to kill somebody. But he didn't think far enough to see what the circumstances would do.
Right.
My job in reentry is to tell him, listen, man, yeah, he did wrong, but I'm telling you, man, his intention was not to kill nobody.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Right.
So, but they don't know that if they don't have nobody in the room that can tell them.
Right.
That's all they got me, and it's a whole bunch of others now to
Right.
do it. All we doing is just making you be outside of the box, which we call open-minded, to the fact, man, it's not what you think.
Right.
Because in the prison system, they sentence you based on what that paper say. That paper ain't the truth. Them is people's stories, man. That's not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they telling you this, man, meet me, man, because on that paper, that's not me.
Right.
And this is still going on today. That's my fight, to try to work with guys through lawyers and everybody else to show the government who you really are.
Right.
Because on paper,
Man.
that's how they do you. And we got guys on my team did 27, some did 31 years straight. But on paper, because when we was taught, this is on the same subject, when we was taught, we never wrote nothing down. Remember that? We never wrote nothing down.
Yeah.
But in the real world, guess what? It's all on paper.
Everything's on paper.
So now when you want to get grant money and everything else, it's got to be on what?
Paper.
You got to have documents, right?
Yes, you
But
do.
in our world, we never did that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So they just doing what they supposed to do by paper, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We just never knew it. So they beat us up with paper. And that's all I'm just trying to teach guys. If you go to work, if I teach the guys to go to work, guess what Molly do? They got you on what? Paper.
Yeah.
On file.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
On the
But
payroll.
and if you work for me, which I'm self-employed, guess what I don't got?
Paper. It's all about the paper, y'all. No
It's
pun
real.
intended. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, it's real.
Yeah,
it's not,
real.
it's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
we can make up. So that's why we try to educate guys, man, because we never wanted to write nothing down.
Right.
But it's real. Everything we do, your social security number, everything is on that paper.
Right.
So that's why we have to let the judge and them understand. Listen, man, some of the stuff that they saying, that ain't him. Won't you get a chance to meet him, man? That's not him. So it's a lot of guys that tell me, they don't even know me, man. A lot of people tell the story. I done been next to guys, they call me Julius. Say, man, you know a dude named Tony Rubin? I'm sitting there looking at him, man. I am Tony, bro.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you already know people just talking, you know what I mean? Like, so, but I'm just grateful, man, that even opportunity, man, we just tell the truth, man. The Bible talks about truth will set you free, man. That's basically the truth. And we have no hidden agendas, man. That's the bottom line. We have no hidden agendas. You know what I mean? Because we all working together to make this community better. You know what I mean? But all of us got a passion, which we like to do. T-shirt king like his. He like go for the mouth. You know what I mean? I like working out here. I like working with the least of these. You know what I mean? That's what I like.
Right.
So that's how we.
I would love to link you with Jason because, like, Jason has a sister that's locked up right now, and you know, I'm pretty sure she gonna need some all the help, all the resources that like she can get, man. I mean, I'm gonna get you with Jason on that.
What think about it when we even before we get away? And I tell people this all the time. You keep thinking, not you or just everyone in general, think about one person when he get incarcerated, one guy. But when I got incarcerated, you should have seen what my sons talk about. You see what I'm saying? Because now my oldest son was a track star. I mean, he was a star. So as his daddy get locked up, guess what? He don't got no more. He don't got no coach. He don't have nobody to provide him. So now the years that I'm gone, he has to stand up in the crowd and listen to the coaches say, you just a spoiled kid. You get what I'm saying? You just this and you just that, right? Because he ain't got no daddy around, right?
Right.
But he's still fast. He's still a star. But now that coach that couldn't do that when I was there, now he's doing it. You understand? That position that they knew that he gonna put him on the bench now that his daddy gone, now they gonna do it. So it's very important. So when we talk about reentry, don't just think about the guy gone. Think about his mom. Think about his sister. It's real, man. It ain't just one guy leaving. So when we try to teach guys and girls not to make a choice to do the right thing, because it affects everyone, man.
Your family does the time with you.
Everybody, man. And you put so much pressure for this little bit of stuff, man. Ain't none of us need no money for real, man. They chasing after dreams, man.
Yeah.
Think about those shoes and those belts. You don't even wear them, man. You get one good pair out of them, man. But you throw your whole life up on the table for that one Balashi shoes, whatever you want to call them. You feel me?
And another huge thing that I think we all need to understand is nobody cares what you wear.
Right.
And if they do, they crazy. You can't even worry about, like, somebody who was obsessed over what you got on enough to talk about it more than just that first 5-6 seconds. If they go back and revisit what you had on and like really fixated on it, that person is ridiculous, man.
What we have fun though, Marlon, Shaq, Marlon Bird, Tommy, all of
legend.
Yeah. See, listen, one thing about it, we gotta have fun in this world. But when you walk in a room, man, you gotta understand you cannot try to impress everybody in this room. And all we got here in this city is people that's trying to do that. Right. Everybody that come in the room is trying to impress people in the room. Right. What the people in the room don't even care nothing about. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So what happens is, because you remember my lifestyle when I was a kid, so people already know me when I come in the room. Right. It ain't the outfit I got on. It's probably Johnny from Van Cleve. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when people recognize Tony coming into the place, everybody like, why y'all recognizing him? It's not that I did anything special. Right. I've been seeing these people. I was rich. I never treated nobody like nothing. Yeah. So you hung with me and didn't have nothing, and you wouldn't have never known what I had. Right. That just wasn't the way we rolled. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. So it wasn't disrespectful. Yeah. So that's why we're so friendly. I'm one of the friendliest drug dealers. This is crazy. Like this friendly drug dealer. You know what I mean? But the thing about the way we was brought up, man, is think of my mother. We just didn't meet nobody we didn't know. You get what I'm saying? Right. So sometimes people don't know if I got the mic or I go somewhere, they like, Tony, grab the mic, and they be like, man, he just like attention. I don't like attention. People know me, man. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? It's just, and that's what guys struggling for in this city. You know what I mean? Because they try to get the cars and they try to get people to know them for the outward things they got. And people really don't care. Right. They really don't, they chasing the dream where people don't even care. Right.
So, bro, you got a new building.
Yes.
Can we build on that?
Yeah. So, for the Chronic Choice Solutions.
Yeah. Oh, so what the Chronic did, man, we got to show you how we did the Chronic. It was really me, Marlon Shackelford, and Darren Bird.
There we go.
So what happened is the Chronic building, well, a lot of people don't even know what it's for. It's like the Chronic Choice building is some brothers now that has an office that can do all the things that we've been doing for years. So the Chronic Choice building, just a building at 1415 Salem, which consists of some great, powerful men. Because we got Marlon Shackelford up at the top. And then we got Coach Powell, which is a legend at the top.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? A legend, the coach of all coaches, right? So then you got me on the other side, which I run
legend, of course.
And then we got Darren Bird to run the basement.
Oh, man.
So we literally, and then we got Barb Mitch, which we teaching these little younger guys that come up under us. But all the Chronic Choices is, we call it Chronic Choices Now Solutions. Solutions mean everybody in this building, together we can make it. Together we change. You get what I'm saying? Because Coach Powell is bad at what he do. Shaq is bad at what he do.
Absolutely.
Darren is bad at what he do, and I'm bad at what I do.
Absolutely.
So, but when we all do it together in collaboration, we gonna take over the city. So they don't really understand why we there now, but that's why we there. Because we got office space, we can sit there and go through a room just like these, and we can collaborate and come up with something special. You know what I mean? That's why we created that. You know what I mean? So it'll be talked about. They still don't understand what it's there yet for.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we ain't advertised. We're not just running around, but we have office space. You understand? That's there, and conference rooms that we're going to make over to take the city back over. Literally. That's just our job,
bro.
Man.
That's tough.
That's legendary.
Like, bro, I'm gonna tell you something, big bro. Man, I am really inspired by you, bro. Like, from the first thing you came on this podcast and said, bro, like, you was adopted for 18 months, then came back to your family. These are the type of stories that we'll hear about 300-400 years from now. And when you hear it, it sounds like Moses. It sounds like you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like these type of stories, and then to see who you turned out to be, to see how you've just became who you are. And like, we got you on this podcast for a reason, because of all the things that you've done and how everybody knows you and how your reputation has came. So, man, I really was inspired by everything you said, bro. You know what I'm saying? For you to go through all your trials and then turn it around, and now helping other people who find themselves in that same situation, bro. That's legendary.
You just think about how great, how everything we do in life, and my wife tells me best, everything we do has purpose. You know what I mean? And it has a turnaround. So even though as I was a kid, I think about it all the time, I'm put up for adoption, then I come back. Then I come back to the family. If it's not for me, my family struggles. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm the one about the house for my mom. I'm the one do all this stuff. You got to remember, this is the same Ruby kid that was going to be put up for adoption, because my dad told her if she ever looked at me, he was going to divorce her. He divorced her anyway. But even to bring us all the way back, and for me to be able to be a blessing to my family in spite of me doing wrong, the things that we have to realize is that God is no respecter person. He reigns on the just and the unjust. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of us called, a few of us chosen. But ever since I was little, I believe he had a calling on me. I got my tongue split when I was 24 months. I was an incubator for 8 months, man. Jeez. A whole tongue cut in half. So that means somebody was going to shut me up since the day I was born. You get what I'm saying? But watch this. When did I go to jail the first time? What did I do? I lied.
Yeah.
What did I do the second time?
You lied.
I lied. That mouth is either going to make you money or it's going to get you in trouble. That's the bottom line. But everything in my life is going to be dealing with my mouth. You get what I'm saying? So we have to understand. It's real. It's nothing we can do about it. You know what I mean? It's just how God planned it. You know what I mean? And it's my job and our jobs to do the best we can with the life he gave us, because it's different than everybody else's.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Everybody can't have that money I had. Everybody can't do what I did. You know what I mean? But guess what? He put me here for a reason. I'm just trying to figure it out. Even with my wife, when he bring my new wife in, I'm just trying to figure this thing out for we can roll off in the sunset and do the best we can before we can, while we can.
Wow.
And that's it. It's not that. That's the whole game, man. That's it. I mean, I told you to save by the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony, bro. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Because guess what? Everything I just told you on this podcast already happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's nothing I could do about it. It already happened.
Right.
So it ain't no bragging and boasting. It already happened.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And see, a lot of times, because of guys of my stature had a lot of money, they think, oh, you bragging. Remember, it already happened. And I sure ain't got what I had then, if you know money. You get what I mean? Right. Some of the clowns will come and ask me, like, he's still rich. You must have had no money.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you asked money from the 90s in 2021, bro.
Right.
You know, I ain't even got the money. I got it in 2020. Okay. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't even know how I'm still rich from way back then. You get what I mean? But guess what? They can keep putting it on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that,
They gonna speak. Well, they speaking it into
and
existence.
they might as well,
It's coming right
I ain't
back to
mad
you,
at
bro.
them.
It's coming
But
right
I ain't
back
mad
to
at
you.
them.
Yeah,
For
man.
sure.
Oh God, man.
Yeah, but
Hey, I think, bro. I know, bro. You came on a tight schedule, so I don't want to hold you
that's
over.
good.
But this was another legendary people podcast to the fullest, bro.
yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. I take time, man. You know, I tell little bruh, he already know T-Shirt Kings is my man. He does stuff for me that nobody probably can even imagine. I don't even have to pay. I just call and he have it, man. You know what I mean? When you get relationships like that, you don't forget where you come from. Wow. You know what I mean? So I got a lot of people to do T-shirts, man. But they be know I said, man, I got one, bro. Like, I got one. Like, come on, Rube. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how we was taught, man. He came. Much respect to y'all, man. And it's gonna blow up, man. We just having fun, man.
Yeah, man.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
In this life, that's all we can do, man.
Bro, this is a legendary podcast. Man. Like,
Take us out,
man.
Take us out, bro.
Yo, again, this is a legendary people podcast, man. There's no legend greater than this. Oh my God, such an amazing story, man. Thank you so much, man, Mr. Tony Ruby Sear, man.
Yes, sir.
This is a classic, man.
Man,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you, man.
Thank
you know
you,
we
man.
love it, man.
Yeah, we out.
Yeah.
And
Y'all actually won an award, the Boss Mag 2009 Ohio Hip Hop Award. Y'all won for that media outlet thing.
man, I don't even know. Yeah.
Like y'all won. He didn't even know he won it.
What'd you say? What was it?
You won the Boss Magazine 2009 Ohio Hip Hop